Hi everybody, it's me, it's Amy Caroline. Welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome back to my channel. So, it is time for some more Ghost Train stories. I'm gonna go ahead and read some more Ghost Train stories for you guys, and then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and go about the rest of my night. So Ghost Train. And hopefully this story that I'm gonna read will be on the Travel Channel and the Discovery Channel and the History Channel one day too. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. The Railroaders Return. The Railroaders Return. So the Railroaders Return, and so the Railroaders Return takes place in Michigan. The first comes from Michigan. And then another railroader came from Chesapeake and Ohio's Railway, Greensboro, and Redneck, West Virginia. So anyway, the Railroaders Return. So here we go, folks. The Railroaders Return. The Railroaders Return. So here we go. One of the oldest ghost stories known is the return of a loved one at the moment of his or her death. Many a tale-teller has told the story of a wife who looks up to see her husband, who is always at his job or at war, or of a man who sees his faraway mother walk into his room at night. The figure approaches so close but then disappears soon after the phone rings or the dread telegram comes. The return as a notification of death is a common folk tale, and it is no surprise that the annuals of American railroading offer several examples of the story. The first comes from Michigan. A mother was sleeping soundly when she was jolted awake. She sat up and flicked on the bedside lamp. Her young son, a railroad brakeman, was standing by her bed wearing overalls and an engineer's cap. Too calmly, he told her that he just slipped and been killed by falling under the wheels of his train. Then he disappeared. The mother had a bad night, sleeplessly trying to convince herself the apparition was just a bad dream. In the morning, though they brought her boy's body home, he had slipped on an icy ladder as he climbed from one car to the next. Another railroader who returns was Mr. Bryant, a section foreman on the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway's Green Barrier division in Redneck, West Virginia. One night, Bryant was called to clear a landslide. He and his section gang worked late into the night clearing the tracks. Meanwhile, Mrs. Bryant had cooked a dinner for her husband, knowing he'd be hungry when he returned. Despite the lateness of the hour, she was sitting in the kitchen reading when she heard him step on the porch and put his lunch pail down with a clang. He usually washed up before coming in, so she started to set out the food. After a few minutes, her husband still hadn't come into the house. Mrs. Bryant went out to look for him, but no one was there. Just a little while later, a grim neighbor came over to tell her that her husband had been killed on his way home from the slide. The track car or speeder on which he and his crew were riding had wrecked. Apparently, Mr. Bryant wasn't satisfied with returning just the once. After his widow moved out of the house, the Hardbarger family moved in. They were troubled by singing lights, steps, and, strangest of all, an invisible ghost cat. The family lived in the house for just 3 years before the eerie fascinations drove them away. Manifestations drove them away. A final of Railroader's return comes to us from Council Bluffs, Iowa. In this tale, the railroader returns soon after his death, although the woman who saw the spirit already knew of its passing. The tale concerns the ghost of Henry Miller, an engineer on the old Chicago Great Western, who was boarding with his friend Ian Kattenberg. On the night of February 8th, 1939, Miller seemed to be dogged by bad omens. A pigeon almost flew against the glass as Miller sat by the window. Mrs. Kattenberg felt this was a bad sign and urged Miller to move. He went in the Confederacy to take a nap. The bird followed and perched on window nearest him. Later, as Miller got ready to go out on his run, he hefted his shoes and said they felt unusually heavy. Mrs. Kattenberg lifted them and agreed. She later confided to her husband that this was another bad omen. Miller's run that night was a fatal one. At about 10:30, he and his firemen were killed in a head-on collision near Tentnet, Iowa. Kattenberg was then on the train opposite Miller. If the accident had been the day before or the day after, he would have been the engineer on the fatal run. He laid off for a few days after the wreck, but returned to work on February 19th. He was understandably cautious, making the run slowly and carefully that night. When he reached Minneapolis the next morning, Kattenberg called his wife to tell her he was all right. She reported a horrible story during the night. Henry Miller's ghost had appeared to her, somehow opening her bedroom door and walking through the moonlight to a grisly chair near her bed. And walking through the moonlight to a chair near her bed. The grisly phantom wore the same clothes Miller had on the night of the wreck, but its face was cut, showing black and scaled in the moonlight. So, according to this story, the first one, so the first one came from Michigan, and the second one came from Chesapeake and Ohio, and West Virginia, and a final story of a railroader's return comes to us from Council Bluffs, Iowa. So, and the third one, like I said, it came from Iowa. So, anyway. So, Henry Miller, worked on this engine here, in 1939. In 1939, he worked on this engine here. He worked on this engine here in 1939, and he worked on this engine here, and right here, I think this is where he lived. No. Mr. Bryant's motor car would have been kept in the section house at the bottom at the bottom left of the photo. Okay. I think that's Bryant's house, and I think that's Miller's house right there. I think it is. I can't tell. I can't tell whose house is whose, but anyway, I think that's Bryant's house, and I think that's Mr. Bryant's house, and I think that's Henry Miller, or I think that's Henry Miller right there. I think that's Henry Miller, and I think that's Henry Miller's house way over there, I think. So yeah. And whatever picture this is, this might be a picture of him. Or Mr. Bryant, or Henry Miller. I don't know. It might be a picture of him. I don't know. But anyway. But this story comes to me, and this is this was the engine that Henry Miller was working on in 1939, like I said. So yeah. That's what's according to that story, right here. So anyway. I hope this anyway, that is the story of the Railroader's Return, and I hope this will be on the Travel Channel and the Discovery Channel and the History Channel one day. I hope it will, and I also hope the TV company can put it on. I also hope the TV company can put it on the Travel Channel and the Discovery Channel and the History Channel one day too. I hope they can. I hope they can. So anyway, that is the story of the Railroader's return. Oh, next one I'm gonna read. Now the next one I'm gonna read is the Ghost of Doe River George. Is the Ghost of Doe River Gorg, or George or something. I don't know how to say it. But the Ghost of Doe River George. So anyway, without further ado, the ghost of Doe River George. Here we go. The Ghost of Doe River George. So the East Tennessee and Western North Carolina Railroad, mountaineers' beloved Tweetsie, was built through the highlands of Tennessee and North Carolina during the late 1800s and early 1900s as its greatest extent. The railroad ran from Johnson City, Tennessee to Boone, North Carolina. The little narrow gauge was no match for modern roads. The line was abandoned back to Cranberry, North Carolina in 1940 and back to Elizabethton, Tennessee in 1950. The 1950 abandonment, the end of rail service through breathtaking Doe River George, one of the most scenic, least known, and least accessible natural wonders east of the Mississippi. Today, the George is almost impossible to access. Only snakes, bears, and very hardy humans see its splendors. The gorge still has rails laid down by a short-lived scenic railroad two decades ago, but no trains have run there in many years. According to Tweetsie workers, the gorge is haunted by the ghost of a workman killed there. One of the most unusual things about Doe River Gorge is about the Doe River Gorge ghost is that his name, Dave Gurley, has come down to us. Gurley, who worked in the gorge, was drying himself by a fire after a rainstorm. Also nearby, unfortunately, were dynamite and blasting caps. The unstable caps exploded from the heat, detonating the dynamite and killing Gurley. After Gurley's death, Tweetsie trainmen say they always saw his ghost walk in the tracks in the gorge if they went through on a night run. The tracks are still there, but a few people ever get a chance to see the ghost of Doe River Gorge walk the line today. So yeah. So Dave Gurley had come to us. Gurley, who worked in the gorge, was drying himself by fire after a rainstorm. Also nearby, unfortunately, were dynamite and blasting caps. The unstable caps exploded from the heat. So yeah, the unstable caps exploded from the heat, detonating the dynamite and killing Gurley. He got killed by the dynamite when it exploded. So he got killed by the dynamite when it exploded. Um, all around him. Gurley got killed. When the dynamite exploded. When the dynamite exploded all around him, he got killed. So anyway, when the dynamite exploded all around him, it killed him. And after Gurley's death, Tweetsie trainmen say they always saw his ghost walking the tracks in the gorge, even if they went through on a night run. The tracks are still there. So yeah, and it says right here, the tracks are still there. So yeah, you can see you can see the ghost of you can see the ghost of Doe River Gorge walk the line today. You can still see his ghost today if you go there. Okay. So yeah. East Tennessee and Western North Carolina trackage in Doe River Gorge, 1906. It is here the ghost of Doe River Gorge is said to appear. Right here. The tracks are abandoned. But you can still see his ghost there today. You can still see the ghost of Doe River Gorge today. Anyway, you can still see his ghost today. hopefully they will put this on the Travel Channel also. And those of you who live in East Tennessee or in Western North Carolina, those of you who live in Boone, North Carolina, if you live in Boone, North Carolina, or in Johnson, Tennessee, or in Western North Carolina, if you go to Doe River Gorge, you can see the ghost appear right here. You can see the ghost appear right here today if you go there, okay? If you go to this site where it says it appears right here, if you go to this site, you can see it appear right there, okay? You can see his spirit and his apparition appear right there, okay? All right? So anyway, that is the story of the ghost of Doe River Gorge, and hopefully they will also put this on the Travel Channel and the Discovery Channel and the History Channel one day, and hopefully the TV company, hopefully the TV company will put it on there, and hopefully the Travel Channel company and the History Channel company will put it on there too, as a season episode and as a documentary. Okay. So anyway, that is the story of I'm gonna come back tomorrow and read some more Ghost Train stories for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed these stories here that I just read, and we all know that we want Ghost Train. We really want Ghost Train to be a documentary on the Travel Channel, and we want we want the title name. We want the title name to be Ghost Train on the Travel Channel or the Discovery Channel or the History Channel. Okay. We all want Ghost Train to be a documentary one day. I'm hoping that, and you guys are hoping that. We're all hoping that. Okay. But anyway, it's going to be up to the TV company, and it's going to be up to the Travel Channel company and the History Channel company to put it on there. Okay. Not me and not you guys. Okay. So it's going to be up to them to put it on there. Okay. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these stories. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell. And I will see you guys tomorrow for my vlogs and for my next stories. Okay. Bye everybody, and happy haunted travels and happy haunting. Happy haunted travels and happy ghost hunting. Happy ghost hunting and happy haunted travels to you guys. Okay, bye everybody. Bye.